Welcome to Global Domination. My name is Lisa Marie Wand, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Stephanie Gilezan. And we've spent the last 2 decades building and scaling our real estate businesses. Now, most agents focus on their immediate neighborhood, city, or region. And we say, why think small when you can grow your business to a whole new level? eXp offers opportunities for you to take your local business to national and global scale. So welcome to our show today. And Stephanie, you're going to introduce our special guest.
Today is one of my favorite. I say this, I think, every time we do this. So no offense, Rob, but you are one of my favorite people because you hold something extremely special. And, you know, a few episodes back, we had John here hold. And everybody, in 2 weeks, it will be my 5-year anniversary, bringing my entire brokerage over to eXp. And it's because one day, 2 awesome guys showed up at my office, twisted my arm, and forced me to look at something that I had absolutely zero desire to look at, but I did it. And I'm so grateful that I did, because one of those guys is Robb Campbell. Robb, welcome to the show. One of my favorite people because of you, because of your grit, your relentlessness, and your persistence. My life has changed in nothing but awesome, wonderful, beautiful, the best ways possible. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's been an amazing journey together. I mean, I remember going in your office and you flat out saying, "Oh, I've heard about this. I have no interest in it."
I did. You know, everybody that knows me, I got this tough exterior shell, and if you get the right tool to crack it, then, you know, you get to see what's soft inside. And Robb certainly did that. But, you know, probably one of the biggest, and I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to go right into it, because the reason why Robb was able to get me to finally look at this after many, many persistence is because, one, I wanted to know who Robb Campbell was. Like, who is this guy? And why is he telling me that these things and that eXp is something that I need to see and that I need to think about and explore? And so in doing my research, I'm like, holy crap, this guy has accomplished 100 times what I thought or could even think to accomplish, which is true, because his history prior to eXp, you know, it speaks for itself. And I want to dive in because Robb is the former owner of 13 RE/MAX franchises, but the one most successful, selling over $1 billion in volume. Did I get that right? In a year.
Yeah.
13 RE/MAX offices, over $1 billion in volume at those 13 offices. And so, Robb, I want to start all the way back. I want you to take us and tell the story, because this is what made me really listen to this man, because he's a real estate genius when it comes to operating real estate companies.
Well, how far back do you want me to go?
I want you to talk about the day that, you know, you decided to invest in RE/MAX, and then how did you get from one RE/MAX office to 13 RE/MAX offices?
Well, when I first started in real estate in Atlanta, Georgia, I was a brand new licensee, and I was looking around for the right brokerage to affiliate with, and I was getting stories from brokers that I didn't like. Most of the brokers I was running into were giving me, and this was back in the 90s, they were giving me, "Hey, when you come on, I'm going to put you in that cubicle and you're going to dial the phone book." I mean, that's what I was getting back in the 90s, right? And I met this one guy. He was a top producing agent. He came from Coldwell Banker. He was making about $500,000 a year all by himself in gross commission income. And back then, that's a lot of money, especially without a team, right? And he had just opened his own RE/MAX office, and it had like 10, 12 agents maybe. And I interviewed with this guy, and he sat across the desk from me and said, "Son, you do exactly what I tell you to do. I'll make you successful in real estate." And I'm going, that's what I wanted to hear. Someone to mentor me, to coach me, to show me what to do. And so he took me under his wing, and it just took off. Within 6 months, I made $100,000 in real estate commissions in my first 6 months in real estate. And I'm just beside myself. So I'm coming from a budget rent-a-car salary at $36,000 a year, right? And so here I'm making $100,000 in 6 months. I'm going, I like this industry.
In the 90s, like the early 90s,
right?
Yeah.
And so here's where everything turned. He came to me one day and says, man, I want to expand. I want to grow, but I need some more capital to do it. And I said, do you want to partner? I'd only been licensed 6 months, and I bought into the RE/MAX office there. I was a third owner, right? And so we started growing, and we grew that office to 140 agents in about a year and a half, right? And then we started growing other locations. We went to Memphis and opened an office. It became the top RE/MAX office in Memphis in 1 year. The other broker owners in RE/MAX were mad at us because they've been around for a long time, right? And here we are just doing things different and out of the box. And then we had an opportunity to buy an office in Nashville, Tennessee. An old broker was just broken down and was tired of it. And it was old, stodgy, cobwebs everywhere. And we come in and we buy it, right? So here we are. We're owning offices in Atlanta, Georgia, Memphis, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. And my business partner is going to Memphis to run that one. His wife is running Atlanta. I'm going up to Nashville to run that one. And this was in 1999. And I made the decision to move to Nashville to run that office because it was starting to grow. There's a lot of energy there. And that's when things changed. My business partner decided he needed a divorce.
Uh-oh.
So his ex-wife gets Atlanta, and that gets her out of Nashville and Memphis. So here we are. We're in Nashville and Memphis, and then I end up getting a divorce. So I give him Memphis, and I end up with Nashville by myself. And I'm by myself in Nashville, Tennessee, starting to grow these offices. Then I meet Kim Campbell, right? My wife. We get married, and it just took off. We ended up growing that to 15 RE/MAX offices back in the day. We were the top brokerage in the world. As a matter of fact, I got some trophies up here still. I keep them.
I see them.
That's the largest single office in the world for RE/MAX. That's the multi-office broker owner of the year for RE/MAX International worldwide. That's the #1 recruiting office in the world for RE/MAX, right? So we just did things differently. And here's the secret, though. We didn't follow the RE/MAX system. We were rebels. We did things different, out of the box, unique, and RE/MAX did not like us for a long time. I mean, I was in my late 20s and RE/MAX already didn't like me. One of the youngest broker owners in the system, and Dave Liniger, the founder of RE/MAX, was sending me and my wife to all these big conferences. To the top 100 in the world go to these conferences, top brokers, 100 brokers. We'll go to these big conferences with Dave and all these old gray-haired, and I got gray hair now, but back then I didn't. Old gray hair, bald, yeah, the brokers, and they're going, "How are you doing it? How do you have all these offices? How are you doing all this volume?" And I can't tell them what I'm doing because they're still in their mind thinking the old way, right?
Right.
And at that time, I had already figured out it's a new generation of real estate that we needed to create, and that's what helped me grow real estate in RE/MAX. And I built the RE/MAX systems by buying an office at first, growing brand new office locations, acquiring office locations by taking them over. I'm sure we're going to talk more about that in a minute. That shocked me at how acquiring non-RE/MAX offices and other RE/MAX offices helped us grow our organization. It was just unbelievable.
And that I love this because, we've had a number of conversations, and maybe a year ago or so, we talked about this one night. And I asked you, I'm like, how did you get all this capital to go out and acquire all these other RE/MAXs? And he shook his head and he go, I didn't. Tell that story. Story. Because, and real quick, let's preface it this. When I speak to broker owners or franchise owners or whoever, and I say to them, well, what's your business worth? They really believe it's worth millions.
They think so.
Tell your story, Rob. I love this story.
So I was building my offices, and I had 4 or 5, I think, that were mine that we had started organically. And I realized something, that if I just had every office doing its own thing, it's expensive. But if I centralize everything into one main office and then have everything else a satellite office, I minimize costs. So I have all my central accounting, processing, staffing, and then my satellite offices just have a front desk person. That's it, right? And then a managing broker, because in Tennessee, we had to have a managing broker for each office, all right? Other states don't require that, but we did in Tennessee. So I was able to centralize the systems and make them more efficient. I had all my appointment setting services in one office, and I had all my accounting in one office. And then I created mortgage companies, title company, insurance companies, signing graphics, appointment setting service, all from one location, but fed out to the branches. So then I started running into other brokerages, whether they're RE/MAX or non-RE/MAX. And I would talk to the broker owners, and we'd get into some private conversations and having drinks on the side. And we're talking about, and it started with the RE/MAX owner, right? This is how I kind of figured this out. I'm talking to a RE/MAX owner, and he's got a small office, about 35 agents, and he's having to do all of his own stuff. And I finally get a few drinks in him, and he starts giving me the real scoop. He's going, man, I don't know how you're doing it. I don't know how you're making a profit. I don't know how you're running all these. He says, I've got to sell real estate just to keep my doors open, because I'm not making enough money off of the agents I've got in, because I've got to pay all this staff to support the agents. And the more agents I bring on, the more it costs me, because I need more staff. I need more tools and resources. I need a bigger office space. He says, it just keeps growing, and I can't, it's costing a lot of money. How do you do it? And I started saying, well, what's your end game? What do you want to happen? Where's this going? He goes, well, I want to grow it and sell it. And I said, well, what's the value in it? And he goes, what do you mean? I'm making X, da, 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 da. And I said, no. Take your own personal production out of the office, and how's it doing? He said, not so good.
How many times have we heard this story, Stephanie?
Yep. And I said, I tell you what I'll do. I'll make you a deal. You give me your office for free. You just hand me the keys. Sign it over to me for free. I will give you a free office space. You're still the managing broker, free fees. I'll pay your MLS dues and your board dues and all that kind of stuff. So you're at zero cost, and you get 100% of your commissions, and you just be my managing broker, and I'll take over your office. And he goes, you would do that? I said, absolutely. So we did the deal. And the first thing I did, he had 3 full-time staff members, 1 front desk person and 2 other people. I don't know what they did. So the first thing I did was fire the 2 other people that I didn't need. I kept the front desk staff person. And as far as the agents go, everything's the same. The only difference is they sent their checks to our main office to be processed, and I ran shuttles throughout the city to pick up and drop off. This was back before you could do everything electronically. And so I ran shuttles each day to pick things up. And the agents loved it. They got more services. The broker loved it. He didn't have the risk and liability anymore. I'm on the hook for the lease and not him. I mean, and I'm instantly profitable from day one on that location.
Love it.
I figured that out from that scenario. I'm going to wait a minute. I'll bet you he's not the only one. Mm-hmm. So I started having these little conversations with these broker owners, whether they're RE/MAX or not. And I'm having these, and it just one after the other said, hey, I'll do that. I want to do that. And then I had a guy named Jay Nelson.
Love Jay. We love Jay.
Yes, we do.
Jay Nelson was a waiter at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse when he came to us. And me and one of my managing brokers took him under our wings, and we helped. He just exploded. He's a hair on fire guy. I love him. Yeah. And so he came to me. He had a big old team doing $1 million a year in gross commission income. And he came to me one day and he says, hey, Rob, thank you for doing everything that you're doing. And thank you for what you've done for me. But I want to be like you. I want to own a RE/MAX office. So I'm going to buy a franchise to open a RE/MAX office. And I said, hey, Jay, how can I help you? And he was floored. He goes, what do you mean? I'm going to be your competition now. I'm going to go out and open another RE/MAX office against you. And I said, I understand, but how can I help you do that? I'll help you open it. He goes, I don't understand. Why do you want to help me?
He wasn't understanding the language, right? It's
No,
like you were talking Spanish.
I said, Jay, listen to me. What has made you successful so far? He said, selling real estate. I said, yes. Let me tell you what's going to happen when you open your own office. You're going to now spend half your time not selling real estate and trying to grow your office. Now, cut your commission in half, okay? And then you're going to spend the rest of your time trying to grow your office, build your office, handle headaches, all the stuff. I said, what if I do all that for you? You can have your own office. You can have your own name up there. I'll handle the management side on the back end. What he said? He said, you would do that?
Are you getting used to hearing this by this point?
Oh my gosh. And I said, yeah, I'll be happy to do that. I'll handle the management side. I'll just take a little transaction fee to run the processing through. You keep the name, you keep the branding, no problem. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. So I figured out that these brokerages, most of the broker owners out there are, number one, not making a profit. If you don't have 100 agents or more, it's hard to make a profit unless you're taking so much from your agents. And if you're taking so much from your agents, how long are they going to stay? Not long, right? So you have a big turnover, which is another headache. So I figured out a long time ago that these brokers are not quite as happy as they say they are in the public. You know what I mean? They have a public persona that they're big shots.
Yeah, it's ego driven. It's always ego driven.
There's no egos in real estate.
It's ego driven. It's all ego driven, you all.
But you know what? There's something to that. A lot of people have a brokerage just because of ego. They want the brokerage because they want their name. They want to be in control, all that kind of stuff. I understand that because I used to be like that. I can remember in the early days, I like to be the owner. I like to be the one to own things. I like to be in control.
You love those trophies on top of your cabinets.
Get all those trophies, right? Let me tell you something. I'm over that, way over that. Because in my RE/MAX offices, yeah, we had all these RE/MAX offices. And yeah, I was getting on stage with RE/MAX to get that, $10 trophy. And, these accolades don't pay you anything. They're not worth anything. And the risk, though, is high. The bigger you grow, the more successful you are, the more risk you take on. I had leases on 15 offices for RE/MAX. I had 4 office leases for mortgage companies. I had 22 copy machine leases.
Oh my gosh.
What year was this, Rob?
Oh gosh. This was 95, right? 05, 06, 07, right before the crash.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I had every month, my monthly overhead every month was $365,000 a month just to break even before we made a dime, right? So ego, it plays a big part in broker owners. And if you can get through that and understand what is your end goal as a broker owner, what do you really want as a brokerage, right? Do you want to help people? Do you want to grow something that you can pass off to your children, right? Do you want to grow a business that you can sell someday, right?
Right.
Those are typically why brokers get involved in the business, right? Well, here's what I've found. Here's the real truth, especially today. It used to be that you would grow your business for your children to pass it off, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the kids these days don't want it.
No, they don't.
And many of the brokers, the kids don't want the risk. They don't want to, the broker doesn't want to give the saddle their kids with all the risk and liability, right?
Mhm.
So that's not really a valid option anymore. The other option is I'm going to grow it and sell it. Well, there's not really any value in real estate companies.
And you've proven that over and over and over again because people have given you these brokerages. So
like,
there you go.
Please take my brokerage.
Please take it over.
Here's the keys, Rob.
There's no value in a brokerage unless you're a mega broker. If you're a mega broker with 1,000 agents, okay, there might be something there. But even there's a lot of risk, right? But most of these brokerages don't have any sell value, right?
Right.
And so you don't really have the option to sell it because what are you selling? You're selling the income stream from the agents, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if the agents came to that office because of you, and if you're not there, what's keeping them there?
Nothing.
So the people who used to buy brokerages don't do that anymore because they understand that. The person that bought my RE/MAX office, the smartest thing she ever did was she hired me back as a consultant for 3 years to help her keep the agents.
Yeah.
So
and that cost her a ton of money. That was a lot of money. That was a line item that you didn't have, and then she had to add to her line.
Yep. So she had to. I was on that last edge of being able to sell a brokerage, right? So I got a pretty big check. This was back 12 years ago. I was able to walk away with a big check for my brokerage because I had a lot of offices and a lot of volume and stuff. She hired me back as a consultant, put me on payroll, right? So that's the way she was able to keep them. Now, 3 years later, I left, did my own thing. She promptly lost her agents. Imagine that. And had to rebuild it. Now, 3 years ago, this person that bought my brokerage, she needs to move to Las Vegas, and she's thinking about moving to Las Vegas, and she needs to sell her brokerages. Guess what? Nobody would buy them.
You can't sell them anymore.
You can't sell them.
No.
She ended up shutting them down, just closing the doors on them.
She paid you all that money.
That's horrific.
Then they tumble after you leave as a consultant. Then she has to build them all back only to close the doors.
Close it down. Is that crazy or what?
But it's the truth. And that's why I wanted you on here, because it's the truth, people. It's
the reality.
Yeah, reality.
Well, here's the last option for a broker owner. In game, they're at the end of their career. They're ready to retire. So their last option, they can't really sell it. Their kids don't want it. They're getting too old to do it, or they need some free time. They shut it down. Just close the doors, right?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of income stream do you have from that? Nothing. So that's where I'm coming to the table now with the eXp model, and I'm leveraging this program and saying, look, here's another option for you. Instead of giving it to your kids because they don't want it, instead of trying to sell it and you're not going to be able to, instead of shutting it down, let's start right now. Keep doing what you're doing now, brokered by eXp, and then build you a retirement plan. So when you decide to back off, everything else is still going and you got income coming in. And so that's what we're doing with broker owners now. We're teaching them another option in the broker owner game.
And I love that that's exactly what we're doing. But we're also teaching the agents like Jay, who wanted so bad to be that owner, that at eXp, you are an owner. You are an owner. You're an owner of a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, but you don't have the liability. You don't have any of the debt. You don't have the risk.
Yeah.
And I love that, Rob, because, you know, what you did in the 90s, you know, and on through with RE/MAX, with centralizing everything into one hub, that's exactly what eXp is.
You know, here's the great thing about it. Let me put my broker hat back on for a minute. I got my broker hat. I'm back in the RE/MAX days. This is what did not make me any money owning a RE/MAX office or franchises, right? Cutting checks, escrow accounts, audits, compliance, 1099s, W-2s, hiring staff, E&O insurance, lawsuits, copy machine jams. None of that makes me any money.
Yep.
But guess what I got to deal with? All of that. Now, there's only two things that actually make you money in a brokerage. Number one, selling real estate. Number two, leveraging agents who are selling real estate. When I saw this eXp idea, and by the way, I turned it down for a year and a half, before I got my mind wrapped around it. When I finally got it, what really opened my eyes is, hold on a minute. I get to farm out all the stuff that doesn't make me any money to eXp. They handle all that. They're the central hub, just like I did in Nashville. They're doing it worldwide. They're the central hub. All I have to do is the two things that actually make money: sell real estate and leverage agents who are selling real estate. And I'm not just doing it in my local market. I can do it worldwide. Right. So that was the aha moment for me when I finally understood the model here at eXp.
Well, and then
absolutely.
Now you also have additional income streams besides those two that you had in your broker owner option. So
that's right.
And here's what I love about it is that, you know, when you look at and the 90s, you know, early 90s to the 2007-8 when you sold,
yep.
You know, you had over 20 years to build 15 different RE/MAX offices that were really within, you know, 4 hours of one another.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. In 5 years at eXp, it's been 5 years because I'm coming up on my 5th, and you know, you were before me.
Yeah.
You have now, you and Kim, because we're going to give Kim Campbell, Robb's wife, you together have built and changed, including mine, agents, broker owners, lives across by showing us this the way you finally understood it, which is what I appreciated most about meeting you, is that I learned exactly what it was about because you were in my head because of what you've done. And, you know, we had a little bit, I never built those types of brokerages as many as you had, but understood it from that owner mindset.
Yes.
Right.
It's a different way of thinking. Yeah.
You knew my pain points because they were your pain points.
Yep. You
knew no matter how much I pounded my chest and said I was awesome and making money, you knew the truth, so you could speak to it. But now you guys have built this empire of all of us in how many different states now, Robb?
So Kim and I have agents in 31 states and 7 countries around the world now.
Amazing.
Could have never done that with RE/MAX.
No, never. And not in a 5-year period either.
No, not at all. And the great thing is I'm teaching other agents how to do the exact same thing. It's not just me leveraging agents. It's me teaching them how to do it, how they can do the exact same thing we're doing. That's the amazing part about this, is helping others duplicate this.
That's right. And that is the whole purpose. And I mean, you were like you should be on here every week with us because this is the true definition of what we mean by global domination.
Yep.
7 different countries, 36 different states. And that's what you've built in 5 years, and no overhead, no expenses, no liability, no 1099s, no W-2s, no lawsuits, none of that noise that makes you no money.
Pretty much all I do is go eat and drink. I mean, that's about it.
There's no being the bank and dealing with all the headaches anymore, right?
Well, right. I go to lunch with agents. I go to breakfast with agents. I go to dinner with agents. And, you know, that's about what I do.
And you and Kim pour into agents because you are, you know, a legacy real estate player. You've been around. You know, you started at a young age. You told everybody that in your 20s. So you're not that old, right? But you've been around and you've had, you know, 30 plus years of experience in this industry. It's what you know. And I love how you and Kim every single day are pouring into all of us, because that's what you're doing is you're teaching, you know, look, here's what I always say in real estate. Somebody has been there and done that. Don't make the same mistake we already made. Just ask first. And that's what you and Robb, or you and Kim, are doing for us every single day of the week, which is what I love too.
We absolutely love that part of the business because we made a choice not to actively list and sell real estate anymore. I mean, we may do it for a friend here or there, but we're not listing and selling real estate anymore by choice. We choose to spend our time to pour into the agents, to help them list and sell real estate, to help them grow their business, to help them earn the stock, to help them grow their revenue share piece of the business, because the more they do, the more successful they are, the more the whole thing grows. So that's what we've chosen to do. So we're sitting down with them doing mastermind talks. We're sitting down with them, teaching them how to set up their database, teaching them how to grow their database, teaching them how to find niches in their business, teach them how to use Workplace and leverage it for the niches and the groups. I mean, We're showing them how to build something that's sustainable and not just, oh, I got another deal tomorrow, something that's ongoing and can
not living commission to commission, but living to build that retirement and to have something when, the one day that we all wake up and say, hey, we can't do this anymore, but we still have earnings coming in. We still own something. And it's a game changer. So Robb, let's talk about this, because you've been in the industry for so long. You've seen the ups and downs of the real estate economy.
Yes.
I love when we have shifts in market, because I call them the time of opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
It's the time of opportunity. Speak to that for anybody that's watching out there. I want you to speak to, what you see with what's happening currently in the real estate market.
So there are a lot of agents who have gotten in the business in the last 3 years and had great success. I mean, it was just boom, there you go. Here it is. Yeah. Write them up, right? Well, they're scared to death right now because they have no clue what to do, because their mental capacity of the real estate industry is what they've been seeing in the last 3 years. That's not the real estate industry. The last 3 years is a fluke. It is just craziness. I've never seen like it in my life, right? But I've seen lots of ups and downs in my years, and I love changing markets. And here's why. When the market shifts and changes, that's when opportunities happen, right? Lots of money can be made in a shifting market. And that's what we're going through right now. We're going through a shifting market. And I teach agents this all the time because they don't really understand it. But in the real estate industry, as an agent, we spend our careers educating buyers and sellers. And what do I mean by that? Well, like for instance, right after the pandemic hit, we were educating buyers. Hey, that at asking price offer is not going to cut it. You're going to have to ask more than asking price. You got to cut out your contingencies, no inspection, all this kind of stuff. And the buyers fought it for a minute. They go, no, let's just try. Let's just put in the offer under asking and see what happens. Well, guess what? They got burnt, right? They lost deals. That went on for a period of time. And let's say it was 6 months. We're fighting with the buyers going, no, you got to do 50,000 over. I'm not doing 50,000 over. Then finally, like a light bulb coming on, the whole market shifted. And now buyers, after educating, fighting with the system, finally buyers go, hey, Stephanie, what do I need to offer to get this deal?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to take 75,000 over. Okay, fine, write it up, right? So finally, they got it, and they just asked us, what do we need to do? Then the market shifted again last year, and it shifted on the sellers. The sellers came to us and said, hey, my friend back in February got this amount of money for their home. I want to do the same thing. And we're going, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
That was February. This is a different market now, but let's just try, right? Let's just put it on the market for that price and see if we can get it. And so we're telling them, hey, if you do that, you're going to end up cutting. You're going to cut it lower than what you could have got if you priced it right in the first place. But they don't get it. They don't understand. And so let's just try. So for the last, 6-8 months, we've been educating sellers on pricing right. Well, they're just about to get it. They're just about to say, all right, fine. What do I need to list this at to sell my house, right? Well, if you do it right in the beginning, you'll get it sold fast and you won't sell your competition first, okay? So we're educating. All of our careers we're going to be educating, and that will never change. It's going to be throughout each market, we're going to be educating buyers and educating sellers. Now we're going into a different market. And depending on what happens, who knows what it's exactly going to look like. But I tell you what we're going to have. For a minute, and I don't know what that minute's going to look like, we're going to have an opportunity for the buyers to get in and actually get a decent price, okay?
Yeah.
Better than they're going to have later on, okay? So they're going to be able to get in. There's going to be some opportunities. You're going to see investors get back in the market. The big-time, deep-pocket investors never left. They're just scooping up properties like crazy. But the regular, everyday investors can now get some deals, okay? Now, that's all going to change at some point, and it'll go back to a crazy market. When? I don't know. That's going to depend on how inflation does, what the interest rate does. That's going to depend on a lot of factors. It's going to depend on job losses. I mean, all of that could continue a hardship, which will give us a good way of getting inventory to sell. But the big, deep fact of the matter is we have a lack of affordable inventory in the RE/MAX industry, period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what market we're in. We have a lack of it. And so we're going to go back into a tight market at some point in the future. So anybody that's looking to buy, they need to buy now, get what they can now. Don't try to wait for the interest rates to go down. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Buy it now, get it for a decent deal. You can refinance later. That's fine, but buy it now. And before these institutional investors kick in even bigger than they are right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of cash out there right now. I mean, that's the thing. And we're not dealing with, what we went through in 9 and 10 and 11 because, we had all these upside down mortgages because if you had a heart and you breathed, you could get a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to see that, but it's still the market of opportunity. And as an agent and speaking to those agents that have only seen I get a listing, I put it on the MLS and it's got 96 offers in the first 12 minutes. It's just a little work, right? You got to advertise, put it out there, do open houses,
marketing.
Yes, pour into it, actually do a little bit of work, but the buyers are out there and, we're still a little bit short on inventory in my market. I know Atlanta's the same way. Lisa Marie's in Reno. So we're still that way. So I don't think it's hindering anything. We just got to teach these agents that, and if any of you are watching or like, gosh, what do I do? What do I do? This is what we talk about literally every single day of the week. We have masterminds. I don't care what brokerage you're with because we invite from all over so that you have people to talk to, so that you can bring what your concerns are or what is your problem with the listing or with a buyer or this. And people like myself, Lisa Marie, Rob, Jay, all these people, we are here to solve those, coach you through it. I've been in this industry 24 years. Rob, what is it? 34 years? Who knows? It's up there, right? You've got it. Lisa Marie's another 2 decades in this industry. Yeah. That's what we're here to do every single day. And that's what we call, our collaboration and so forth. So
because if you can get around other sharp people in the industry and you can learn what Stephanie's doing in Louisville and you can learn what Lisa Marie's doing in her market and bring it to your market. I mean, that's where you can shine and do something different and unique.
Absolutely. Rob, I love you. I'm so glad you came on here today. Your story's amazing. It's impressive. And now, for those that have always said, well, who was it? And, everybody saw John on a few episodes ago, which was tremendous, but you right alongside of it, being this mega RE/MAX owner and me going, okay, he knows what he's talking about. I better listen, at least take a look at it. So
well, that's what I told John because John had no real estate experience in the beginning. We just told him to get his license. Actually, my wife told him to get his license in no uncertain terms and not very nice about it. Right. And made him get his license. And he said, I don't know anything about real estate. And we told him, you don't need to. You just need to you just need to sell them to talk to me. You just need to talk to them. So you need to talk to my business partner, Rob, right? And then let me do it for you. And so that's one of the things that I've been doing in our groups is I've been helping our agents to talk to people. I don't want agents to go out and do it by themselves. As a matter of fact, I want agents to focus on selling real estate because at the end of the day, nothing happens in the real estate industry unless sales happen, right?
Right.
I mean, you can have a brokerage with 100 agents. If nobody's selling anything, who's making any money? No one.
Exactly.
So I'm going out and I'm saying, hey, sell real estate. Let's help you be better at selling real estate. Let's help you do more in selling real estate. But when you run into agents, you bring them to our mastermind groups. You bring them to our sharp people who have been around a long time. Get them to talk to Stephanie. Get them to talk to Lisa Marie. Get them to talk to me. We help. That's what's been doing so well in helping these agents to grow their business because I don't want them to get out of their wheelhouse,
Exactly. Yep. We want them to be as successful as possible. Well, Rob, thank you so much for being on here today. It's amazing. Hey, Kim, because I know you're watching. You're just as important. We're going to get her on too because her story is phenomenal.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Rob.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I really enjoy being with you guys and sharing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great having you on. Thanks so much. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day,
guys.
everyone.